Hello, I'm Jeff Cavins, and today we're looking at the readings for the 32nd Sunday in Ordinary Time. Did you know that every dollar in your wallet, every dollar in your purse is actually attached to your heart in some way? At least that's what Jesus tells us in the readings this week. Maybe you've heard that phrase, you can't outgive God. And that's certainly true, you can't outgive God. But more importantly, this week, it's important to realize God is watching you and your money and how it's connected to your heart. I love the reading. In Mark chapter 12, in the course of his teaching, Jesus said to the crowds, "Beware of the scribes who like to go around in long robes and accept greetings in the marketplaces, seats of honor in the synagogues, and places of honor at banquets. They devour the houses of widows, and as a pretext recite lengthy prayers. They will receive a very severe condemnation." And now here's what's interesting about the reading this week. It tells us that Jesus sat down opposite the treasury. Can't you just imagine him sitting down there and looking over at the treasury and observing? It says he observed how the crowd put money into the treasury. He didn't just observe that they were putting money into the treasury, he observed how they were putting money in the treasury. It says many rich people put in large sums, and a poor widow also came and put in 2 small coins worth a few cents. Now after his observation, he called the disciples together. He called them to himself and he said to them, "Amen, I say to you, this poor widow put in more than all the other contributors to the treasury, for they have all contributed from their surplus wealth, but she, from her poverty, has contributed all she had, her whole livelihood." Now what I think is interesting about this is that Jesus not only observes how much they put in, but he seems to know whether they are wealthy or whether they are impoverished. And he draws a conclusion, and that is that the heart is attached to the money in some way. In other words, you can kind of see where a person's heart is at in what they give compared to what they have. And it's a lot easier to give $100 if you have $100,000. But if all you have is $100 and you give $100, you gave everything. And Jesus is making that connection in our readings today. But I'd like you to think for a moment, maybe it's not money, maybe it's time. Is time connected to our heart? Do we give out of everything, in our life, or do we just give a few minutes here and there in serving the Lord, in our local parish, our family, our children? What about talent? Oftentimes, churches will take a time, talent, and treasury type of study in their parish to find out, how much people are going to give and where they're going to give. What I would encourage you to do, is I'm encouraging my own heart, is to give more. Not to give out of a surplus of wealth. That doesn't hurt. That's just convenient. But to give out of poverty, to give all of our lives to the Lord. Some people will argue, should we give 10% to the Lord, or what percentage should we give to the Lord? If you accurately understand your relationship to the King and his kingdom, it all belongs to him. You can't outgive God. This Sunday, think about giving more like the widow than the rich.